everybody. How's everybody doing tonight? Welcome to the House of Flux. If you guys are returning, welcome back to the House of Flux. Tonight, I am joined by the one and only Camelot331. What's up, dude? How's it going?
Boys? Dude, it's going fine.
Yeah. So
it's okay. Okay, it's fine. It's fine.
All right. So you know, this is like a first for us, right?
Yes.
Because I think we've been on stream together, but you've never been on my stream. I've never been on your stream. I don't think we've had the opportunity to converse so much. Nope. So I'm excited. Thank you for being here.
We've not shared nudes yet. And that's like that's the first thing I do usually. So this is very strange to me, to be fair.
Oh, see, you know, I don't typically, you know, it's really funny. I don't typically get nudes, you know.
Really?
I've been married for like oh shit. This year's gonna be 10. This month is 10 years.
That's too long, man.
That's a long time.
I don't believe in marriage, Flux. It's a scam.
Yeah. It's, you know, it's a government construct that I think is stupid.
Yes.
And, you know, my people fought for so long to get the rights. And it's like, oh, all I wanted was to be able to like be put on Mrs. Flux's insurance so that I didn't have to pay for mine. That's all I wanted.
When you said you people, are you like Jewish or something?
No, the gay people.
Oh, the gays.
Yeah.
I heard about the gay rights.
Yeah. Like, well, because we got ours and we don't care anymore. We got ours, so we're done.
You won.
We won, so we're like, okay, we're good.
Yeah. Like I was totally for it, you know.
You know, back in the day, I wasn't. I was like,
wow, you bigot.
You know, it's a thing because I saw this coming. Everything that's happening now with the whole like what words mean, changing words, it started with marriage.
I remember. No, I remember that. I distinctly remember the argument from my angry uncle who said over my dead body, because that's, you know, crazy uncle. And he was like, I'm like, what does it affect you, uncle? You know, Obama's great. And I distinctly remember the argument where it was like, what's next? They're going to marry dogs. And lo and behold, now we have young girls identifying as cats and dogs. And I'm like, oh, it's happening.
Right?
Should have just told the gays no, like we tell our children, Flux. A 9-year-old picks up something, an alcoholic beverage. Son, you can't
say no.
You slap them. We should have slapped the gays. Should have slapped them.
Just but although I also am a little Jewish too. I forgot. I also am
a little Jewish. What does that mean? Does that mean like you're upper middle class? You're not like rich?
Yeah.
Can I say that?
I'm just because I'm also a gay, I'm like in the lower part of the categories.
I don't know, dude. Like ever since I started YouTube and like saving money and like signing partnerships and doing all this stuff, I'm suddenly like saying like Jewish terms. It's weird. I don't even know what's happening. People keep inviting me to stuff. I see like yarmulkes all the time, like just laying around. I'm like, what is happening? I'm like changing.
You know, shalom.
That's one of them, yeah.
No, but it's funny. Yeah, Mrs. Flux and I inadvertently, so we named our cat Poonam, which is, we thought it was funny because, you know, in Austin Powers, you know, when he's talking to Mini-Me, he's just like, oh, look at that cute little Poonam. Well, apparently that's Yiddish for face. And I'm like,
oh,
I didn't even know, like, we named our cat something, apparently, like, I can't get away from it. It's in my blood.
Yeah, my cat's name is Mrs. Buttcheeks.
Oh.
But I call her Cheeky. Like just
cheeky.
I
like that.
It's
I like
easier,
that.
You know?
Yeah.
No. Yeah, rest in peace, Vern Troyer. Old Mini-Me, man. He was also the little goofy ass goblin.
He was.
Lamp, please. He was Lamp, please, goblin in the first Harry Potter where he's like, Lamp, please. That was Vern Troyer.
I forgot about that.
Lamp, please. That was his only line.
You know, I didn't see the Harry Potter movies until I was, I think, 21.
Same. Well, I'm lying. Well, I guess I'm not lying actually, because I didn't watch them And then my ex-wife, we started watching them, and I think that we went and saw Deathly Hallows Part 1 and 2 and Prisoner of Azkaban all in theaters, me and my ex-wife. So I guess I was like early 20s when I started watching them, because I thought it was like gay, because I was like Lord of the Rings and stuff like that, and then like everybody's like, oh, Harry Potter, and I was like, it's a book and the cover looks super gay, and I was like, I'm not gonna go watch that. And then like I watched them later on, I'm like, these movies are great, oh my god, they're so good. Yeah, and I loved them. And then they're like, you should read the books, and I'm like, yeah, I don't read them, from Alabama, we don't do that.
No. Yeah, no, I wasn't allowed to, because witchcraft and the devil and whatnot.
So what happened when you were like, Mom, I love vagina? There was like, were they like,
oh yeah, no, that was a whole thing. I only recently got my siblings back, and like yeah, no, the worst case scenario, unfortunately, that's my story. But it definitely made things interesting. It made things interesting because I came from that very straight edge, no drugs, no alcohol.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, I like ladies.
Yeah, so like I actually didn't my first time I ever got drunk was I was 26. And then I didn't drink again until I was like 27. And I've never done drugs other than like THC. Like I did some edibles one time and it was wild, or a couple times now, but yeah, I've never done anything else. But that was not a religious thing. I didn't grow up religious at all. My family was never religious. So if I was gay, they'd be cool with it. But I also see like if I was like a religious parent or whatever, and my daughter was like, I like ladies, I would be like, that's not as jarring. Because I don't know, it's something unnerving about seeing your son that you raise get like just bent over by another man. But like if it was just two chicks just like munching on some lunch, I'm like, that's cool.
Right. And I hate to be that person, but ladies are always better than dudes. Seeing two dudes, nobody wants to see that.
Not even like two dudes wants to see that.
No. It's just I don't want to be a hypocrite.
No, I agree with that. Dude,
everybody loves boobies.
It's like a month ago, I had two girls over, and they were both blonde. One of them I know really well, like I've known for years. The other one was kind of a new girl. Both blonde, both taut looking. Bro, you can't beat that. Like, there's no way. If you switch the blonde chick out for a dude with abs, it's not as good at all.
Mm-hmm. I would agree with that.
I'm like, don't high five me. What the fuck's doing? Don't look at me. No. I've done that where I had another guy and he accidentally slapped my ass. And it was hilarious. It was funny at the time, but it was, also terrifying at the same time. I was like, oh, damn.
Right. It's one of those things where you're like, oh.
Yeah.
That's okay.
Okay. Yeah. You ever done that? You ever been like slapped by, well, I don't know how you live your life. You've never done anything crazy. You said you were religious and you've been married for 100 years. You've never done anything cool.
Well, see, no, I had my time in the service.
Oh, damn.
When so the worst part was, right, I was this like sheltered little homeschooled Christian girl, and then I went like right into the army.
So you tried every flavor at least.
Yes.
Well, at least there's that. At least I will say what you're missing.
Well, see, and it's like for me, I guess you would say I was bisexual because I dated both, but I fell in love with Mrs. Flux, and I'm chilling with Mrs. Flux. And
okay, this is a good thing to bring up then. So my friend Zia, one of my really good friends, Zia, she's married, of course, to a man, but she's bisexual. But she tells me you cannot be the good old fashioned fat penis. Is that true? Because you are on the other side of this.
I'm gonna say I prefer I say it this way, right? I prefer the indoor plumbing. I do not prefer the outdoor plumbing.
Interesting.
Okay. Yeah.
So I can't really. I don't have a basis of comparison. It's hard. I'm trying to understand.
Right? No, I respect that. And it's funny because, especially like at times, there was one time my nephew, he's getting to that age where he was like kind of curious, and he was like, "Do you kiss Auntie Flux?" And I'm like,
"No, we just are friends." What?
Well, because he knows, like, and I'm like, "We do," and he goes, "Oh, I'm okay with that," and I'm like, "Thanks, bud." And like that was it.
He better be
that
okay
was
with
all
it.
I was gonna go. Huh?
So they better be okay with it. It's like 2023, man.
Right?
Come on.
Right?
Who
Well, I
cares
mean, he's
about gay
only
people
like
now?
he's I think 13 or 12.
Yeah. How
So
does that
he's like
feel
just
though? Like on a kind of unrelated note, how's that feel to be like yesterday's news? You know what I'm saying?
you
Like you can't
know,
be like if people are like, what? How are you like? Who? Like what's your sexual? You're like, well, I'm gay, and they're like, lame.
it's because it was what was it? I don't know. Whenever you had Ricada and Cecil on,
Yeah.
and you're talking like as regular people where it's like our sexuality isn't our whole entire life, and it's like I actually have a personality, I like to use it. It's like at least they moved on, like they found something new to talk about. At least we're not the shiny toy anymore.
Dude, I had this dude I used to hang out with, just turbo gay, but like he wasn't like flamboyant at all. He was just like normal, but he was, you know, he was kind of gay, but he was for real gay. And he always asked me to go out to dinner with him, and I never did. But we hung out sometimes, like at parties, and we play like music together, and like we go work out together, and we had like laugh and cut up, normal ass dude. But it seems like if it's modern day, like your sexuality has to be your forefront of everything, and also you can't have a conversation about anything other than that. You have to have a conversation about what you are going to do to like fight bigotry and transphobia. And I'm like, dude, I don't care. Like, what do you like? Do you like movies? Do you like video games? Jesus.
You like the Ninja Turtles? You like cheese? Anything?
Is there anything like about you that's interesting? No. But the unfortunate truth is the vast majority of people, and this has been like the case throughout all of time, the vast majority of people on this planet, they don't have interest, nor do they have anything to set them aside from other people. Therefore, they jump into giant movements. Oh, I'm Z Zerd times 8 to the third power. You can't beat that, son bitch. Please give me clout on Twitter. It's very important to me. It's like we used to do things like put eyeliner on. When I was 14, I'd wear eyeliner. I'd wear my Jinkos and my damn leather jacket, and I'd go to the school, and I'd be like Slipknot, even though I never listened to Slipknot because I don't like Slipknot. But I would say, yeah, bro. And I'd listen to hair metal, but I wouldn't say that. And I'd hang out with the 8 other gothic kids. And then a year or two passed, and no one was gothic anymore. And I was wearing my normal clothes again. And it was normal because I passed that phase. But now you can wipe off eyeliner. You can't reattach your boobies.
That's what I'm saying. I'm like over here like, okay, so you're allowing kids to do this. Like, so can they go to the tattoo shop?
Yeah,
like
they should be. Yeah,
because if we're doing body modification, like let's go all or nothing. But it's not about the body modification. It's about the virtual signaling and the look at how progressive and awesome we are. And it's like,
it's the whole words speak louder than actions.
Yeah.
It's the opposite nowadays.
What I don't understand is like, okay, if I walk into a doctor's office and I'm like, I don't identify this left arm. It's not my left arm. Cut it off. No doctor in their right mind is just gonna be like, all right, let's go on and remove this arm.
They would consider you insane. But if you chop off your penis, you're brave. You're
brave and you're heroic and all that. Really quick, we got some super chats. Thank you so much, guys. We got Legal Vices in the house. What's up, Jeff? How's it going? With the 5,000 won. Thank you. Good morning, my peeps. Good morning, Jeff. 5,000 won. That's about $5, which is awesome.
Don't break the bank, Jeff, with your 5,000 won. Okay.
I still have some won from when I was in Korea, and it's blue. I think it's just 1,000, which is like $1, but it's blue and it looks cool.
You went to Korea?
I did. I was stationed in Korea.
Did you get Korean lady sit on your face?
No.
That's gay. Well, it's not gay, but it's super gay that you didn't do it.
Yeah, no. Well, when I was in Korea was when I was like, it was my first duty station, and I was 20, and I was just discovering who I was as a person. So I was all sorts of all over the place. But unfortunately, I did not have any of the Korean ladies sit on my face.
That's lame. That's because that's the only reason I go to Korea. Like, was to like just destroy some Korean ladies. Maybe like go to the rural parts of Korea. dump a few loads, have some bastard children. They never know, spread your seed like Genghis Khan. That's what I plan. If I go to Japan, I'm gonna go to like really undisturbed rural Japan and just like strike up like relationships. I'm gonna stay for like 4 months, strike up relationships with like 8 different girls. Oh my god, this white man came out of nowhere and he's gonna save me, and I'm in rural Japan and I have nothing. I'm at the rice fields, and I'm gonna just dump loads and just disappear. It's gonna be hilarious. And then they're gonna, like, at 10, 20 years later, I'm gonna be sitting in my damn wheelchair, from all the too much steroids, and then the Asians are gonna be lining up my door. You pay me all.
Me, like,
exciting.
Father.
How dare you? Look at my head. Look how big it is. I killed mother coming out. How could you do this? Which one was Sheepang? I don't remember. Like, fuck it.
I'm pretty sure that's like what Elon Musk is doing, right? Like, he's just spreading his seed throughout the entire planet.
That's what you should do. Always.
Like, doesn't he have like 1,000 kids?
Probably.
I'm pretty sure he's got a whole bunch.
Cannon, they're battling for top spot.
Oh my god, yes. Yep. Stingy with a $2 super chat. Make a high, make a really gay though. Yeah, shut up, Stingy. Thank you so much for the $2 super chat. MLS in the house. What's up, Dave? Drinking is overrated. Oh, Dave got super white girl wasted yesterday in Switzerland.
Oh, disagree. Yeah, so I remember saying that. Now look, that was a different situation. When I was growing up, all my friends would drink, and I was like, you guys are drinking stupid and blah blah blah. And then of course I started drinking, and then I never really drank that much. I was just drinking because girls would come over to my house after my wife left. I'd hang out with girls off Tinder or whatever, and they would always bring alcohol, so I just drink it. And I started drinking like more in my 30s, going to events, like sipping on whiskey and stuff, and I started acquiring like taste for different things, and like they make me like I started really enjoying it. Now I like it. I really enjoy drinking, but I don't do it as often as I'd like. I do it like once or twice a month usually, but I should do it more. I was doing it every day for like 2 months, 3 months, and I was like, oh shit, I probably should stop doing this. So
yeah, that was like when I was in the service, I drank a lot, and I was like, I probably should like try and stop this. And that's, I got out and just, now I smoke weed all the time, and you don't get hangovers, and that's nice.
Yeah, I don't know what it is about THC, man, but I don't like it. It always makes me feel bad. Like,
oh, that's
always
terrible.
Like, I don't know what it is, man. I had a good trip once. Like, I was in Colorado. I was in Netherlands, and I took some. It was like some new shit, right? Like fast acting, crazy shit. Took a little bit of it, and I started hiking up this mountain, and I was feeling pretty good. Obviously, every time somebody walked by me, I was terrified because that's just how
you're like,
yeah, like I'm like, oh my god, they're gonna fucking say something. So I just keep going, and eventually, I'm just kind of floating through space, man. And I noticed that I'm just I'm on a snowy mountain, and I'm just like walking, and I realize it, and I turn around, and there's just my set of footprints going back. Now, granted, more context. I had a girl that I met there, and thank God she was there. I would just died out there. But and it's the weirdest thing because it was like deserty kind of.
Okay.
Warm kind of. And all of a sudden it was freaking snowing. And I'm like, and it's like summer, right? And I'm like, oh well, spring. And I'm like, what's happening? And it's just how it works. Like I walked for like 4 miles and ended up like kind of climbing this like mountain trail and then going off the trail because I was high. And it was just pure snow. And I was just like walking through snow, and it was crazy as fuck. It was cool though.
Wow.
That was the best time I ever had, like with THC, but every other time's been like scary. Like it'll be funny for a second, and then it gets real scary, and I'm like, I fucking hate this every time.
Oh, you are like probably way over smoking then, because like holy cow, that's not what it's supposed to do.
Yeah,
because I'm over like for me. Like I initially first started smoking because I was like, I had like PTSD and like anxiety, depression, all that stuff. And it helped me sleep, like no issues. But I've never had like a bad, I think one of the first times I probably got a little paranoid where I was just like, the cops are going to get me. But then I got my medical card and I'm just like, oh, this is nice. I can sleep and my knees don't hurt as much.
Yeah,
this is great, but
it
at
doesn't
the same
take the edge
time,
off for me. It's like takes the edge off. Not for me. It like creates freaking hell. It's I don't know what it is, man. It's just weird, and it's not from smoking. I've never really got much high from smoking, and I've smoked tons of times in my life. I get a little bit there, but it's like when I take edibles, it's like 100,000 times worse. It's just doesn't matter what or how much I take. It
Oh,
could be
wow.
15 milligrams. Sometimes it'll be okay, but like one time I took 100 and it blew me into the freaking moon, and I couldn't even see. It was like the weirdest fucking thing. Everything was like
Holy cow.
coming in and out of consciousness. I was like, oh my God, I'm freaking out, man.
Wow, are you sure it wasn't laced with something?
I don't know, man. It could have been. But that's usually what happens, man. It starts getting really freaky. So
Oh, Lord. Well, that's terrible.
yeah, dude.
I can see why you wouldn't want to because, yeah, no, that sounds horrible.
Yeah, it was
And
horrible. But that's why I just drink whiskey, man, because it's
hey,
I can sip on a whiskey a little bit, and
oh, yeah.
it definitely takes the edge off, and I just relax, man.
Hey, and that's, I'll tell everybody. I'm like, what literally whatever takes the edge off for you, but it's always for me, it's always just moderation. As long as you're not crazy
Oh
and you're like
yeah, yeah,
you
yeah.
have, your limits and whatnot, like you're good.
That would be the sucky thing because I've had friends in the past that I obviously distance myself from because there's so many people that like they fucking change like when they drink.
Mhm.
I've had friends in the past
Oh yeah.
who, as soon as they would start drinking, they would want to fight immediately. They would like so you couldn't go out in public with them because they would want to start
Yeah.
something immediately, and
Yeah.
I hated that shit. The freaking psycho motherfucker. Ugh, it was awful. So I obviously don't talk to those people anymore. Um, but yeah, I just get really, really laid back and like kind of quiet, but kind of goofy. So yeah, I enjoy it. But I have friends that I used to hang out with this girl. She's a sweet little girl, like 80 pounds, little tiny girl. And every time she drinks, she'd just start crying like hysterically. And so like,
Oh.
you couldn't let her drink because I'd have to like hold her like a little baby every time she drank just to get her to like
Oh.
cry. I'm like, ma'am, you are 24. What is wrong with you?
Right.
And there's nothing wrong. Like, there's no really crazy trauma.
Ugh.
Just
See, and that's like if you're an adult, that's my biggest thing. We're adults. Like be adults.
yeah,
Don't make me babysit you. Don't make me like have to follow you around. Like we're adults. Just
yeah,
be adult about it. And I've had to do the same where it's like people they just either don't know their limits or
yeah.
they don't care about their limits.
That's true. And I mean,
And
look,
it just gets it's if they're too sloppy, it's like after a while, it's like, look, I don't want to help you up the stairs like every
yeah,
time we hang out.
I get blackout drunk sometimes. I don't mean to, but I do. And all that happens is I black out. And then I wake up in my bed and I don't do anything. It'll be like my friends will be like, "Yeah, you were just on the couch and you would giggle and then you would just be asleep." That's what happens when I like. There is no like fighting and shit. And I now, granted, it doesn't happen often, and I try not to do it. But sometimes I just keep drinking. So,
Mhm.
but no, last time I blacked out, I was in my pool, and it was like
Oh, that's not good.
I had all my party lights. We had party lights freaking going ham. Had like a grill, which we had already eaten, and it was like midnight. And I was drinking. There was so many people. Um,
Mhm.
and my friends just kept inviting, I guess, more friends. So there was girls everywhere. And I was sitting on this floaty and I was gone, man. And this girl like she was just swimming around the pool and pushing me on the float, and I had no idea who it was. And I was like, and I didn't realize it until the next day. I was like, man, there was some random girl pushing me on a float and laughing, and I'm like, I don't know who that was. And then I woke up in my bed, so it was all good, and there was nobody there. It all worked out really well. So
Hey, I mean, that's always at least you woke up and it's all good. That I've only ever blacked out twice. And both times was good because I woke up alone, which is always key. Um, but one time, the very first time it was Jaeger, and I guess at some point, like I was stationed in Korea, and I was out. We were chilling in the barracks or whatever,
yeah.
drinking. Apparently, at some point, we were all dancing on the pool table, and then I remember waking up in just a random bed alone. And I'm like, somebody put me here because they didn't want to deal with me.
or you got dick down. Did you have pants on?
I did.
Okay,
I
good.
was fully clothed. Everything was good. And then the next time I woke up, my friend that I had gone to the party with, she was standing over me with a bucket of KFC chicken, eating it, and was like, "I got you chicken."
That's pretty cool.
And I'm just like sitting there, and I'm like, "But you're eating it." And then eventually we got back to our barracks, but like, oh yeah, it's fine. It's fine. Everything's fine.
Yeah, the friend that buys you like food the next day is the best. I've had friends stay with me that were like staying in from another country or staying in from another state and stay with me for like a week, and I'll die, of course, blackout. Wake up like just random girls like strewn across the house, and of course guys as well. And then one of like the responsible friend that somehow drinks but doesn't like feel bad the next day. There's always that one guy that can just do it because they're a chronic drinker. It just has like 9 biscuits and chicken biscuits and all this shit. It's like, yeah, dude, there's like 9 chicken biscuits. You want one? And I'm like, well, yeah. So thank God for that.
That's always great. We got another super chat, $4.99 from Renee Galarza. What's up? Thank you so much. What's up? PR love. Is that Puerto Rico?
Puerto Rican love. It looks like Colombia.
What's
I don't
up?
know.
Thank
Shit.
you.
I don't know nothing. I don't know nothing about other places.
Have you left the country?
Hell no.
Oh wow.
I am next year for a while actually.
Where are you going?
I'm gonna go to Edinburgh.
Ooh.
Hang out with Critical Drinker. It's gonna be fun.
Nice. We got a $2 super chat from Stingy. Shut up, Stingy.
You're
Flux is also a furry, but she'll deny it. Shut up, Stingy. No.
Wait,
furries are disgusting.
Have you ever been in a fursuit?
I have not.
Oh, okay.
No, not even as like a mascot or anything. Mm-mm.
I've worn a fursuit before.
Oh,
I feel like everybody should have worn a fursuit at least once. Yeah. So okay, that little girl I was telling you about that cried all the time. So more context. So the way she made money is she was a fursuit maker. She made fursuits.
Oh.
And
nice.
she made a lot of money on them. And to promote her fursuit, she'd go to furry conventions. And she's this little tiny, like 20. Well, at the time, she's probably 22 or 23. I can't remember now. She's like 28 now, or maybe 27. But she would be like, "Hey, you should go to this furry convention with me because I don't want to go alone." And I'm like, "All right, cool. I like conventions." And so I go. And then the third one we went to for her to promote her stuff, she was like, "You should wear a fursuit." And I'm like, like, what does that entail? So she built me this giant fursuit. And I like put it on, and I still have it, by the way. It's somewhere.
Nice.
And it looks like a giant dragon, and it was kind of cool. And everybody was hugging me. But the weird thing is, like, all these like weird little like creepy people would like try to hug me. They wanted to hug me, and I was like, I'm a large man, so being in a fursuit, I'm a large man in a fursuit. And it's pretty interesting because you'll go into a place called the Headless Lounge where everybody's because it's really hot in the fursuits, right?
Oh god, it's where they all take off their heads.
Yeah, you take off your head, and there's all these tubes with like AC units connect to them, and you put your head on it. And you can kind of put it down your sleeves, and you can kind of get a breather,
like cool it down and everything.
And the demographic is very, very like direct. It's 13 and 14-year-old girls that are ambiguous. That's 50%, and then the other 50% are 48-year-old gay men. That's literally that's the demographic for fursuit people. So when I took it off, I took my head off, and back then I was like 150 pounds, like real cut before I started mass gaining. And all these like girls were like circling me because they're so confused as to why the hell I'm there. I was just like normal looking dude here with all the it's like height peak of autism. Like every single person has Asperger's or something. God. And there's nothing wrong with that, but like every single person has like some kind of autism or some kind of Asperger's, and they're all in fursuits. I guess it's where they find their like they fit in. They find their like thing, which is cool. But it's kind of weird because a lot of the people are like 40-something, 50-something year old like bald men like in fursuit.
Oh,
the really nice ones, the really nice fursuits you see that are really intricate. Yeah, those are like 50-year-old men that make like $200K a year. So they spent $15,000 on a fursuit.
Wow. It's all the guys with the really, really big kinks and big money.
Yeah, those are the ones smashing in rooms. And because people always try to say, And look, I don't like furries. I think it's all really degenerate, but a lot of the fandom are like 13, 14-year-old girls. So, they're not in hotel rooms. They're there with their parents. They're not in hotel rooms getting smashed or smashing people in fursuits. So because
That's a good thing.
every time anybody sees somebody in fursuit, like they just immediately think it's like sex based, and it's really not. It is for the older people. It's 100% that. But for the young girls, they're there because they think it's cute.
They just want to be a cat.
Exactly. That's the whole point.
Yorick with a $5 super chat. If it doesn't get all over the place, it doesn't belong in your face. So I have a Korean lady. Have a Korean lady sit on your face. Well said. Well said. Thank you for that $5 super chat. And the Gun Club, what's up? $2 super chat. Good evening, all. Evening. But so you've never left the country. Is there a particular reason, or you've just never wanted to, or you've never had the opportunity?
Yeah. So I grew up in a trailer park and didn't have any money. I left the trailer park when I was 20.
Okay.
Or I was 19, about to turn 20, when I met my ex-wife, and we got a small house together. And I worked a dead-end job until 2017, making like nothing, obviously. That's around when she left. And I don't have no money to go overseas right now. And then now then at 28 I got a new job, then I started YouTube and everything started taking off. So now I can easily afford to go overseas. It's just the last 3 years has been my opportunity, and I've been doing other things, like started my racing career, and now that's in full swing. I do it full time. So I can't just leave because there's a race every 2 weeks somewhere in the US, so I have to be there. And other stuff like that. But next year I'm definitely making time to go to Scotland. That's like my big one. I want to go there, visit, and I want to go to Japan. Not because I'm a weeb. I'm actually the furthest thing from it. Don't watch anime or anything. I just would like to visit places in rural Japan. Spread the seed. You know what I'm saying? And that's the only places I really care to go. I don't really care to go anywhere else. I want to go to Scotland, maybe a few other places in the UK and Japan, and everywhere else I don't really care.
I would say if you go to Japan, you definitely have to go to Korea. Because when I was in Korea in 2011 and 2012, and back then it was popping. Like, it's a fun country.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I'm not opposed to going to any place. It's just those are the ones I mentioned are the ones I've definitely going, right? But yeah, there's probably places in South Korea I definitely want to go to see my boy.
There's definitely places I would go because a lot of my overseas travel was like military service.
Yeah.
So I had a lot of restrictions. But I think I would like to travel as this. No. I'm at the age and point where I've traveled and I don't want to travel anymore.
Yeah, the thing about traveling is the traveling part sucks. So
yeah,
and that's me every weekend. Last weekend I was in Jacksonville, North Carolina, which is it's a 3-hour flight, but it's a 13-hour drive. So I just fly. We had a race out there, and week before that I was in Houston for a week, and the week before that I was in Virginia for 4 days. So I don't like traveling at all, especially when it takes the driving. So that's the sucky part, is having to be on a plane for 18 hours. That's what I'm not looking forward to at all.
Yeah, that's I think the longest flight I was on, it was probably 15 hours or so what was from here, I think, to Japan. And it's just when you're sitting for that long, it's just a lot.
Yeah, no thanks.
But the places are worth it. Oh my goodness, Europe. Oh my goodness. I loved traveling Europe. And when I was my unit got sent over there in 2017, and I was lucky enough to go through 9 different countries.
Yeah.
And Europe's a cool place.
Yeah.
The history and whatnot.
Only thing about Europe is rural areas, and I don't know why. I watch a lot of car content because I like cars. I build cars and stuff. Um, every time I see somebody from someplace in Europe like reviewing a car, the roads they drive on are like single lane, the
So
width
here
of the car, and I'm like, what happens? And they're like giving the car some beans, shifting down, giving it some beans, and I'm like, what happens if like somebody comes around the corner? Everybody just dies, like fucking scary. Whereas in here, the roads are, especially in Alabama. I'm in Huntsville, Alabama. The roads are
Mhm,
robust, always repaved. They repave them every fucking 2 years. They're always robust and beautiful and huge. And I'm like
mhm.
terrified of every back road in freaking Europe was like this shittily upkept, shitty road. I'm like, why is it all like this here? So I don't want to go there and drive. You know?
I will say it depends though, because there are like being my unit, we were fuelers, so we had to drive a lot.
Yeah.
And like there were legit still like cobblestone roads,
Yeah.
like where it's like individual bricks laid and you're driving over it and you're just like, this is horrible. Why is this a thing? But then like they still have, they've got like the Autobahn over there where it's like all their highways, you just go as fast as you want.
Yep.
Like,
Oh, yeah.
and
I'd
it's
love to take a
they
supercar over.
and they drive so much better over there because it's like they're, the fast lane is for the zoomers.
Yep.
You don't stay in the fast lane, and
Yep.
everybody knows that. And it's like if you're in the fast lane and you see somebody coming up like 10 miles behind you, you're already in the lane over so that you're not
Yeah.
slowing down that
Well, it's 'cause
person.
you don't wanna die. Yeah, whereas
Yeah,
in, like,
that too.
America, you have it's 70 miles an hour on the interstate. So, like, if you're in the left lane, I mean, usually no one's gonna come up and kill you, whereas in the Autobahn, like, especially there's certain sections of the Autobahn that have no limit. So, like, my
Yeah.
car my new car I just got, it tops out at 198 miles an hour.
Ooh.
Like, how in the absolute dude, somebody's gonna die if I'm at the Autobahn and they're in the left lane, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. But see, that's the thing. They drive those cars really fast over there, but they've done it like their whole lives, so they're
Yeah.
better at it. And it's like
Yeah.
the thing that I appreciated most was that when there was construction and it was like the lanes merged, people were already merged and like out of that lane for miles.
Yeah.
Like, so by the time you got up to it, there were none of those people trying to like crank over at the last second. It's like
Yeah.
it was all just a perfect flow because it's like, hey, we all need to get there. Let's
Well,
do this the right way.
maybe, and their history of their government structure is a lot more people, like, for the people based versus
Yeah.
for the individual, which I don't necessarily know if that's a good thing or not. But so maybe that goes into the process. But they also have they probably, I don't know, I don't live there, but they probably have a way more vigorous like driving like certification and test. Whereas here, you don't have to do anything here where I live. You just pay $25 and you just get a license.
Really?
Yeah, it's fucking wild. Now it might have changed, but when I was growing up, I had to take a written test on a
Mhm.
computer, and it took 10 minutes, and I passed it, and that was it. Now, I remember when I was working at GameStop, one of my coworker, her daughter went to get her license in another place, which was even more rural, and I was
Mhm.
like, "What was the driving test like?" And she's like, "There's no driving test. You just pay $25." And I'm just like, "My God." You know what I'm
Well,
saying?
I guess it would make more sense in rural places that they might be. No, you
Yeah,
still should
you
have
should
to
take a
do
test.
like, yeah, you still should need a test because
Yeah, that's
that's
for damn
like,
sure.
yeah, no,
I ain't
no,
trying to do
because
that.
I grew up I grew up in SoCal, like in the OC. And so all you do is like it's just all city out there. So you have to drive and everybody has to take their, driver's tests and
Yeah.
uh like back when I was taking my test, our version of parallel parking was we had to pull alongside of a curb and then back up for like 10 feet and not hit the curb. But now they don't even make you parallel park anymore. It's just like you
Yeah,
just kind of go around a tiny little course and you're like, "Yeah,
yeah.
you're good."
There was definitely no parallel parking in my thing.
Wow.
I don't really remember. Well, so it might have been because I think it had something to do with our school. There was some
Mhm.
kind of government subsidy. We took a driving class in school in like ninth grade, and we had to do all that
Okay.
shit. But I never took a driving test. I did a 3-point turn like at my driving like high school thing.
Oh, wow.
But I've never had a problem with parallel parking. I feel like you don't need to be taught parallel parking. You just fucking do it or you don't. Like, I've never understood that how people can't parallel park.
It's
The
funny
weirdest thing in the
though. I
world.
love watching people not be able to parallel park.
You just
It's the most funny thing.
just do it. It's I don't know. It's weird how you even have to explain it. Like you just boo
You just
habba-do-do.
whoop, whoop.
Like you literally just pull up parallel to another car and then turn your wheel the opposite way and then it just back in and then correct it and you're there. And it's the weirdest thing that people can't do it. Now, granted, my truck is a monster, so I wouldn't want to parallel park it, but it's it's fucking massive.
What kind of truck do you
It's like it's for hauling my race car. I don't drive it
Oh,
very
nice.
well. I do drive it every day right now because I'm waiting on my new car to get shipped.
Nice.
But my truck is it's a 6.7 Cummins 2018 Dodge Ram 2500, and it's lifted like 2 inches for some reason.
Hell yeah.
It's because I bought it that way. You can't buy them new; they're like 70 grand. There ain't no way in hell.
Hell no. But Dodge is the way to go. And I don't know if there's a bumper sticker that you can get. It says if you can't dodge it, ram it. It's my favorite bumper. Or dodge the father, ram the daughter.
Yeah, dude, that's for damn sure. Yeah, I mean that's the cool thing is I could fucking hit somebody going 40 and they're gonna turn into goo and I'm not even gonna have a mark on my damn bumper.
Yep.
Cool. It's a freaking monster. And it's really reliable and it tows anything. Like I have a race car trailer, it's 24 foot by 8.
Nice.
And I can put like race car, my toolbox, which is huge, everything I need, and just haul it across the country, which is what I usually do. Now I race for a team, thank God, and I don't have to do that anymore.
What team now
I bought a fucking truck. Now what do I do with it? I bought a truck just for this, and then I got hired to race for a team, and I don't even use my own cars anymore. It's a team called Showtime Motorsports. It's same series I run in. They just let me run with them, and I don't have to pay anything, which is cool. So,
nice.
Thank God.
And so I want to talk a little bit because I mean, we got to talk about a little bit. You worked for GameStop for a long time.
Yep.
I worked for GameStop for a long time, which a lot of people don't know, but that was one of my first like real jobs outside of like acting and stuff. But I feel like I worked there back in the good days when like NOS sponsored us and gave us a shit ton of free NOS all the time.
I remember getting all kinds of shit. I remember getting Red Bulls, NOS. I remember getting Monsters. I remember getting Reese's. I remember getting freaking cereal boxes. I remember getting potato chips, pork rinds.
It used to be such a cool store.
It was great. It was great. I don't know when you worked there, but I worked there from 2007 to 2018.
Oh wow. Okay, yeah, I worked there. So I worked there in 2010. Yeah, from 2010, and then I was like, literally, I'm joining the army. I don't want to work here anymore. And then that was in 2011. So I worked for them for about a year and a half, and then when I got out of the army, while I was in school, just part-time, I worked at like the local GameStop. But then they just like stopped scheduling me, and I was like, okay, bye.
Yeah. I don't know, man. It was cool. It was cool for a while. I think up until 2014. So 07 to 2014 was pretty cool. It was pretty solid.
Yeah.
With the the minor issue here and there, and then it got real bad real fast when Paul Raines died, and then he stepped down because he had cancer, and then Tony Bartel stepped up, and then Mike DeZura was fired. It got real bad real fast, and then the Circle of Life came in and ruined everything. But which we always had, but we never ranked it. But yeah. 07 to 014 was 2014 was great. But then what I really enjoyed about it was I became a store manager in 2009. And we would fly to Las Vegas every year, and it was
nice. Oh yeah.
So fun.
Yeah.
So it was pretty much the only reason I worked there anymore. Past 2014 was, well, at least I get to go to Vegas every October or August. And then I finally left in 2018. They were going to fire me anyway, but it was coming. There's no avoiding it, but I left. I just walked out. Nice. It just got real bad, man. My dude, it was wild. My store would rank second in the company every week, second or first. I got the President's Award.
Nice.
I made I can't even remember the math. It was like 70% increase in profit. We had 800 grand of operating profit that year, which was like one of the top in the country. And it was just great. And then no one cared. It was the weirdest like, because when you're ranking in the middle of the road, you're like, well, if I was ranked top in the company, they would be so proud and everybody'd be so, they don't give a fuck. Like the first time or the second time you rank in the top 5, which is a big deal, they'll be like, yeah, good job. And you're like, yeah. And then it's expected forever. And you're like, and dude, I got all these awards and shit. And I got back. This was when I decided I didn't give a fuck about GameStop anymore. It was 2014, best year for me. We knocked it out of the damn park, dude. I was running 2 stores for a short period of time, but we closed the other store, and then I got all the store's business from my old stores. It was just going crazy.
Nice.
And we went to Vegas, got a bunch of awards, came back maybe February or March. And because after fiscal Q4, and the regional director came to my store because he wanted to see my store. He's like, damn, this guy's like I was the top in the district and top in the region.
Nice.
So he comes to my store, and I'm like, bro, like, and my whole life up to this point was GameStop, right? So when I do things, I go all out. Like when I do YouTube, I went all out. Racing, go all out. I do everything I can. It's just weird. It's just how my personality is. I can't help it. So I'm excited. The regional director shows up, and for about an hour, he proceeds to grill me on like the most mundane shit in the world. Like we didn't have shelf talkers in one section. Like there was no shelf talkers, which are those little stupid plastic things that say Xbox 360 used games. That was one thing he was pissed about. And also I had all my spined games, like the bookshelf. I had them on row 4 or 5 instead of the bottom row because I thought it worked better if they were eye level.
I mean, yeah, that's how we had it.
You know, like, yeah.
So that's, yeah.
So I did that in every section, and he did not like that. And because it wasn't part of planogram. And then same thing with shelf talkers. And then he like said my bathroom wasn't like perfect. Now, keep in mind, my store was converted from a Rhino video games. There wasn't even a back room. It was like a piece of plywood stuck up against the wall with a door on it.
Oh Lord.
He's like, my bathroom was like some shitty carpet that was torn up. Like, what do you expect me to do? Like, I'm not going to pay for this. GameStop's not going to either.
Yeah.
So he says my bathroom's a wreck, which it wasn't. It wasn't not clean. It was just it looked like fucking gas station, like torn off, the freaking ceilings falling apart because it was not a real bathroom.
Yeah.
Anyways, so he grills me, and I'm very unexpected about this. And my district manager is real mad at me because he's getting grilled too. And I ranked 97th in the entire country for the year. And they left, and my regional director sent out a region-wide email directed at me, but didn't mention my name. It said, just because, literally, this is what the email said. Short story, but it said, just because you rank 97th in the country, which is what I ranked. So he was referring to me, but not naming me. He said, just because you rank 97th in the country doesn't mean you're a good store manager. And I remember reading that email, and I like laughed out loud. And I was like, and I literally remember saying like audibly, fuck this place, I'm done. And for the next 3 years, I coasted. I never once, I still ranked like above average because I had a good customer base, but I never tried again. And my district manager's like, man, I just don't know what happened to you. He's like, and I'm like, I don't either, man. Like, I'm like, what am I getting from this? I got a $3,800 bonus check that was taxed at 57%. What is the point of this? Like, there's no point to any of this. I didn't get moved up. You can't be moved up to district manager from store level. They don't do that. They hire district managers from outside the company. So there's there's no point. They have it was a program called like MIT or something, and they had it for store managers in rare occasions, and they had it for district managers. You couldn't actually be moved up to a district manager unless it was a very rare like emergency situation. It was like a weird club that you couldn't be a part of. And every district manager I knew in that company was like from Foot Locker or from Best Buy, and they had no idea what a video game even was, but they were leading like these teams. It was just too much micromanagement.
Good Lord.
But the company got real bad. And it was, and the funniest part about all this is I left in March of 2018. And my old store manager, who was like a 500-pound man back when I was like a teenager, would have like sex with hookers in the back room. and he would leave the store and stay clocked in until 5 p.m. and then come back and clock out. He did this for years. And
Nice.
everyone told on him. People were sending anonymous emails to the regional director and everything, and no one ever cared because he ranked really well. And he was still there until October of 2018.
Wow.
He lasted longer than my ass. It was crazy. And I never did anything wrong. Like I never did anything shady. They eventually, what they were going to terminate me for was sitting at my desk at 8:30 a.m. before the store opened, which every manager does, but they constituted it as me stealing time. And I'm like, what did you? And I remember asking them, I'm like, okay, for clarification, I've been told this by everybody ever, my entire career, sit down, make schedules. If you are inside the store, you're on the clock. That's how we always have worked. So you're saying that was a lie and I was lied to. Okay, cool. That's fine. I can accept that. And like, what would you want me to do in an hour and a half's time before we open? Do you want me to just act like I'm like grabbing stuff off the shelf and put it in the back? Like, what do you want me to do? And of course they had no answer for that. And so I just I left. It was funny because the reason this all happened is because one of my employees was really angry. I don't know what it was, man. It was the weirdest thing. I've told this story before, but there was this guy that worked for me and he was mixed. And he was a sweet guy. He was a really nice guy. But for some reason, like the last 3 or 4 months, he just became like this really mean, like kind of like thug dude. And he was like really identifying with like black culture and like he'd wear headphones in the store alone and not talk to people, not check people out, just stand behind the counter. And like, basically if people were like, hey, can I get help? And he'd be like, pfft. Like he just got really mean. And I'm like, what the fuck? But I never really thought about it. I was like, hey man, like I would try to like encourage him to do, whatever he's supposed to do. Cause I always did stuff by the book. Well, I would make schedules a month out in advance because for some reason they wanted us to do that. And what I would do is I would make templates where I would put just the management on and then I would put part-time later before I printed the schedule out. And my assistant manager printed the schedule out in advance and he saw that he wasn't on the schedule because I hadn't added part-time yet. And he texted me this big paragraph about how I'm racist and like a piece of shit and like a white supremacist because I didn't schedule him. And I was blown away. And I texted him back. I'm like, dude, if you ever message me like this again, I will fire your ass so damn fast your head will spin. I was like, do not message me on my off day. I was pissed as fuck.
Yeah,
I text my DM and said the same thing. I was like, this dude just freaked out on me because he misread the freaking schedule because he's, I guess, too dumb to realize that I didn't put anybody on it. He didn't notice that there was no one on the schedule. He just saw that he wasn't. So I found out like a few days after I'd left, after, they were going to fire me. I found out that he had called HR claiming that I invited him to like a party at my house to have a threesome. This like this extremely overweight.
You can't do that, man.
This extremely overweight black man claimed that I invited him to a threesome at my house. Ugh. So that was the first thing that HR asked me. The guy was like, so we have heard anonymously that you invited somebody to your house for a threesome or something. And I laughed. I couldn't fucking believe it. I laughed so hard. I was like, you're shitting me. I was like, you're shitting me. And I was like, it was Charles, wasn't it? And he's like, that was the guy's name that I just doxed. I was like, his name is Charles, wasn't he? And he's like, I can't give that information. And I looked at my DM. I'm like, this is some bullshit. Really? Because it just so happens the guy that was there before me 6 years before was friends with this guy that this guy I just mentioned that called HR. And one of his friends got the previous manager fired from GameStop. And he had called HR in 2013, I think. And guess what he told HR? That manager was inviting people over for threesomes. They used the exact same fucking thing.
Wow.
And so they wasn't going to get me on that, obviously, because why would I want to have sex with like a 400-pound black man? That's weird. But anyways, so I laughed in their face and I was like, it's some bullshit. And I was like, can I go back to work now? This is stupid. I'm not going to participate in this bullshit. I was like saying all this. I didn't, and to be fair, I didn't care at this point. Yeah. He was like, well, we do have to talk about one other thing. And I was like, okay, cool. And he's like, yes, we see you on camera sitting at the desk at like 8:40. And I'm like, yeah, we don't open till 10. And he's like, well, you're not supposed to sit at your desk. And I'm like, no, every store manager in the history of time has sat at their desk. I was at Tim's store the other day, which is over here on University. I was like, I was at Tim's store the other day and he's sitting at his desk. What are you talking about? And he was like, yeah, well, that's not right. And I'm like, well, I've been told this 100 times. And I like pointed to my DM. I was like, he told me 100 times. You've all told me this. So you're going to change it right in front of me? And he was like, well, I mean, technically it's still in time. And I'm like, well, no, it's not. It says nowhere in the handbook it is, but you can go with that if you want. And he's like, all right, well, I'm going to call my superiors and see what they want to do. And he like gets up and walks out. And I was like, and I was like, fuck this. And I was like, all right, I'll see you later, DM. And he hugged me and then I left. I just left. I was like, yeah, I'm out.
Damn.
So like that's basically how it works. If you want to get somebody fired, just call and be like, oh, he's trying to fuck me or something. And then HR will find a reason. And now to be fair, my DM was probably in on it as well because my store was only ranking like 1800th in the company, which is like 45%. So he's probably want me out for a long time. So it didn't really bother me though. I was ready. I was so excited when I cannot explain how like ethereal and like beautiful that ride home was.
Oh, I bet.
Dude, I called my ex.
It's like you're being released from prison almost at that point.
Yeah, it was like waking up for the first time. And I never ever felt sadness or scaredness or anxiety. I was so excited.
Good.
And you would think a little bit of yourself, you'd be like, oh no, I didn't at all. I was like, holy shit. And then I was like, I was like, well, I got to get another job now, right? So I just I built a resume, built cover letters for each place, put in like 100 resumes, and I had like 8 interviews the next week.
Wow.
And then I got a job contracted out as a district manager, like for a company for Walmart, like immediately. Nice. And I was making double what I made at GameStop, like immediately. And I was like, dude, GameStop's bullshit. I can't believe I wasted freaking that long of my life at that bullshit ass place.
But see, that's how they got you at first, by being great. Like by having all these perks. Like when I was there, you could, still take home games and like do everything as an employee. And like, I'm telling you, my favorite things were midnight releases, especially of the bigger titles, because it was always a party. It was always a party. It was a gathering of the nerds that, people waiting outside your store. Like you close down at like 8:00, but people are still like, they're like, no, we're here for the release. And so they just stand outside the door until, but it was always like the most fun to just hang out. And then, but that was also when you got cool stuff with games.
Yeah. And that stopped actually. So they did rolling releases. Mm-hmm. And they stopped. So midnight releases stopped in like 2016-ish.
Yeah.
And we never did them again because we did rolling releases and Hawaii would get it at 6 p.m. and we would release it at like, I think 11 p.m. here. So they never did midnight releases anymore. It was kind of lame.
Well, I think like the whole digital game space is what really killed it, because it's like, I can just buy it and have it right now.
I mean, and I agree, and because I've never even thought about buying a game physically again. I haven't bought a physical game since like 2017 now, 2018 maybe, a long time.
Yeah, I'm trying to think like. Yeah, I think the last physical game I got, that's when did Grand Theft Auto came out, like what, 2013?
Yeah. I think the last physical game I got was probably Bloodborne. Bloodborne on PlayStation 4 was the last physical game I've ever bought. There's probably an odd or an in there somewhere, but I think that was the last one. It's 2014. Which is weird. There has to be something else I've bought since then, because I didn't leave GameStop until 2018. But I can't really think of one. I just remember playing the hell out of that game. And I tried to get a copy of Resident Evil 1 remake on PlayStation 4, but you can only find like Japanese versions because they didn't release it physically in the US. So that was
really?
Yeah, it was just digital. But I just don't, and I still don't see a point in physical. And I know people collect, but the issue is the whole point of collecting is value, and there is zero value in physical game. Like there is in old physical games. I have all my PlayStation 1 games. I still have all my PlayStation 2. I still have all my PlayStation 3 games, Xbox 360. But I could sell my PlayStation 1 games for $1,000 right now. probably more because I have Final Fantasy, 7
Really?
I have a couple of sold copies of Metal Gear Solid 1, Medieval on PlayStation. I have sold copies of Resident Evil 1, 2, 3, and Resident Evil 1, 2, 3 Nemesis and Survivor. So I have all these games, so I could sell them for a lot of money. There's no situation ever where I could sell a PlayStation 4 game for anything,
Yeah.
because you don't
They're
use the disc.
Yeah, you don't use the disc, and they're mass produced at this point.
Yep. So no point.
And I'm trying to think because the last time I did go to a GameStop was, I don't know, like last year, because I had to get my PS5 because my PlayStation 4 decided to like no longer read controllers. It was like, oh no, we're not going to read any controller anywhere, not by cord, not by wireless. You don't have controllers anywhere.
Yeah.
So that was kind of sad. So I mean, it was old, so I needed a new one. But
Oh yeah, I haven't been to a GameStop since what year is it? 2021. What year would I start YouTube? 2020. It's probably been. I think 2020 was the last time I went to GameStop.
Nice.
Because I went in and they immediately recognized me, and I was scared they were gonna be pissed, and they weren't. And they like high-fived me and said they liked my YouTube, and I was like, all right, cool.
Nice.
But I haven't been in since then.
Well, see, I feel like at the store level, everybody's gonna love you. It's only the like upper district
Store managers,
people that wouldn't like you.
There's a few store managers that are like really ride or die with the company. I don't really know why.
Yeah, I've seen those where it's like they're just but see, it's always a certain demographic of person that's like those diehard store managers. They always tend to be older white dudes.
Yeah.
That have a lack of hair. But they are always so like, oh, GameStop's awesome. It's like, oh,
no,
cool.
No.
But that's yeah, I definitely miss the old days. Now, what got you making YouTube? Was it GameStop that pushed you into making YouTube videos, or what got you started on YouTube?
Yeah. So I've always wanted to do YouTube, like ever since its inception. And I never really, I mean, obviously I didn't know what to do. I didn't know what to do. Like, I used to make guitar videos that no one watched. But it was 2018. It was October 2018. And I remember seeing this guy. His name was Clean Prince Gaming. He has since disappeared a long time ago, but his name was Clean Prince Gaming. I think he sold his channel like a year or two ago because there's like a random guy running it now. But he made a video and it was called "I Worked at GameStop. Here's my story" or something. And I was like, oh shit, I worked at GameStop. So I clicked on it to watch it, because that's what I did. I just watched YouTube videos.
Yeah.
And I had just started working at this district manager Walmart thing. And it was a real good job too. But I'll talk about that later. So I watched his video and it was like the most basic shit I've ever seen. And no shame towards the guy. Like, it's his experience. I'm just saying versus my experience, it was like baby shit. By the way, he only worked there for like 2 months. I worked there for 11 years, man. Like,
yeah,
so
you see some shit.
Yeah, and his like main point of contention was like gutted games are still new or sold new. And I'm like, wow, my manager had sex with hookers in the back room. Like, this is not comparable. So I was like, man, I have a lot of stories I could tell. And it's crazy. It was like a sitcom when I was at GameStop. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to tell like my story. So I was like driving to the gym or driving home, and I had my friend with me, that little bitty 80-pound girl I was telling you about. And I was like, you know what? I remember this shit like it was yesterday. And it's funny because I never thought it would actually be a thing. But I was like, you know what? I think I'm going to give YouTube a real shot since I have a job that is remote and I can just mainly just stay on my computer and not really have to do anything. So I was like, I'm going to give YouTube a real shot and commit to it for a long time. And she's like, you can do it, because that's what she said, no matter what it was. We did. So I got home and I put my Galaxy S3 up on my monitor and balanced it like it was pointing at me and just talked. The video is still there, by the way. It was my first video ever. Nice. And I was like, I worked at GameStop 11 years. Here's my story. And I filmed it like 4 times but it couldn't. It was always like 40 minutes long, and I was trying to get it lower. So, anyways, so I finally got the cut I wanted, I guess, and I think I edited it down to 24 minutes, and it was just jump cuts. It wasn't anything fancy at all. Some random program I cracked, like on torrent, and I put it out, and of course, no one watched it, which is fine. I didn't expect anybody to. But that same night at 3 a.m., I was laying there in bed. It's 3 a.m., and I went to Reddit, and I saw somebody had screenshotted a post on Facebook where some guy had worked somewhere, and he did an AMA on Reddit. So I was like, "Oh, that's funny." And I went to Reddit, and I just made a post. I was like, "Hey, I worked at GameStop 11 years. Ask me anything." And that shit within an hour was number one on Reddit. I know it was on the first page of Reddit.
Damn.
Page. And I noticed it started taking off like really fast for whatever reason. So I edited the post and I put the link to my first video, that video I just posted. And there was hundreds and hundreds. I think there was over 1,400 questions on it. And I spent the next 2 days like trying to answer all of them. And that video I think got 20,000 views, which is like back then that was like earth shattering, right?
Yeah.
So it got 20,000 views, and I was like, "Well, this is awesome." And I think I got like 800 subs or something, which is pretty cool. So I was like, "Well, this is awesome." And then it, of course, died out eventually after like 2 days. And I was like, "Well, I'm going to put out a video every 3 days." So I started putting out GameStop story videos, and they would get like 800 views a piece usually, or 400, 300. They started getting lower and lower and lower.
That's where I first started watching you.
Yeah, and that's what everybody remembers. So I did that for about 4 or 5 months. No one's watching, which is fine. But the job that I was talking about earlier that was good started getting not good. They were restructuring every 3 months, and it would get worse and worse and worse and worse. So I was like, well, I got to take a break from YouTube because it takes a lot of work.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
I go to that same little girl. I went to her graduation. She graduated from college. So I went up there, and I was like laying in bed. And I like noticed that I had an ass ton of notifications. And I was like, this is weird. So I went to my YouTube Studio app and I refreshed it, and I had like 9,000 subscribers.
Holy shit.
I was like, what's going on? And then I went to sleep, and then I woke up and I had like 24,000. And I was like, what's going on? And by the time I got home, I had 30,000, and that video had hit 1 million views, that very first video.
Wow.
The algorithm was like, let's go. So I got 1 million videos off that, and I was like, well, I guess I got to make more GameStop videos. So I got home and I made this video called GameStop Vegas Stories or something, and it got like 100,000 views in the first day. And I was like,
wow,
I guess this is what I'm doing now. And I was still working, of course. And then I think like a week later, I started streaming. I like just opened a stream and started playing like Elder Scrolls Oblivion. And Jesus Christ he's a YouTuber that PewDiePie worked with like at that time for a second. And he like jumped in my stream and he was like, hey, turn super chats on. And I was like, what the hell's a super chat? I don't even know what that is. So I turned them on in the next stream because super chats they just became a thing like 2 weeks prior. They just started doing super chats. And I was like, all right, cool. So I turned them on. The next stream, I made like $800.
Holy cow.
And I like broke down like kind of like a gay, like got emotional because I was like, oh shit, this could be like an actual viable thing. I could actually do this. And I made a schedule that I've been doing since 2019. And and then I got fired from Walmart because I made a Walmart video. And that's against the handbook. You can't make a social media. So yeah, got fired from Walmart because I knew that was coming anyway. And I went head over heels as hard as I could.
Nice.
And I hit 100K within 6 months of going full time on YouTube. I hit 100K, and then of course 200K like within another 6 months, or 180K, and then it kind of got stagnant for the next like I get like 20K or 30K subs a year, which is whatever.
Wow.
It's not even out. It's like the algorithm base is whatever. My videos get a lot of views sometimes. I'll get 70, 80K views on a video sometimes, but it's mainly all for streaming now. I do it all for streaming my show, the Camel Cast. I have a new show coming out Saturdays called Saturday Night Camel Thoughts with Zia. So Zia's going to be
I'm excited about that one.
It's going to be a lot of fun. So that's pretty much what I do. It's just a show, and it's a viable solution. I mean, if you look at the like super chat ranking, I'm 24th in the entire country. and I'm just my
Damn.
channel's small. If you actually look at the leaderboards, every channel around me is like 9 million subs, 10 million subs, 9 million subs, all the way up the list, and I'm 200.
But you have like fun things like that. You unlock achievements with super chats on your channel.
Yeah.
So it's like super cool, and it motivates the viewers to unlock the special achievements.
Yes, I've hit 210 naked snakes in a row.
Holy cow.
I've not missed it in a year and like 9 months.
Holy shit. And see, it's like I put your show on at night, like when I'm going to bed, and like I never make it to the end, unfortunately. Typically I pass out.
Yeah.
But that is insane. Cuz how many shows would that be?
How many shows? What do you mean?
Is that like reaching Fight Milk or Naked Snake?
I've done it 210 times in a row.
So that's 210 shows that you've reached it.
In a row.
Holy shit.
I've done it for years. I've done it like 600 times probably. But like,
is this your longest streak?
Oh yeah. The streak before this was like 6.
Oh damn.
Now it's 210. I don't know what's wrong, to be fair, but I'm pretty happy about it. It's pretty cool, and I just got a really nice community of people that for some reason choose to support me, and I don't really understand why, because I don't feel like I deserve it, but they do. So I'm there, very thankful, very thankful, because
it's definitely awesome.
It's really cool. Thank God for those people. So
because then you don't have to work retail anymore, and
that's for damn sure.
Oh my god, I mean, shit, anybody who's had to work retail on like Christmas Eve, man, they deserve a special spot, and like
yeah,
heaven.
I did it for 13 years.
My favorite story is one time I had to work on a Christmas Eve. I was so mad, so I'm like, whatever. But I was working at GameStop during Christmas. I knew I was going to get scheduled for Christmas Eve.
Yeah.
That's just what was going to happen.
No way. Everybody worked.
And so like, you close at 9, and it's like, we want to close because we want to go see our families. And you close the door, and as you're locking it, someone runs up to the door and starts pulling on the door and is like, I got to get a game for my kid. And it's like, I was standing there. I'm like, bro, I'm sorry, we're closed. And he's like, you need to let me in so I can get this game for my kid. And I'm like, bro, my manager already like shut down the registers. Like, you got to leave.
Yeah, they don't care.
And he's just standing at the door, like shaking the door. And he's like, you're going to ruin Christmas for my kid. Like, and I'm just like, why did you wait until 9 p.m. on Christmas Eve?
Like, they ruined it. It wasn't me. They were the ones that ruined it. Dude, I would be sitting in the parking lot, like on my phone in my car, and like all the lights are off in the parking lot and at the store. And I would see somebody walk up to the store with the metal gate in the pitch blackness and try to pull on the door.
And I'm like, what are you doing?
They dumb as hell. Yeah. But no, it was awful. It was fucking awful. I hated it. I hated Black Friday, especially when we were on salary. Black Friday, when we were on salary, we worked 20 hours that day.
I was going to say, like, thankfully for like us little plebs, we could like leave. But the managers had to be there from like open to close. And
yeah, we were there, man. We never left. It was awful. It was a damn nightmare. It was an awful nightmare.
Oh God, I can't even imagine. Like, nope. We got another $4.99 super chat from Renee. Thank you so much. I enjoy the Naked Snake music. I do like that music.
It is good.
It is good.
It's a beautiful song.
It is. What's the name of the song?
It's called Snake Eater. It's from the game Metal Gear Solid 3.
Is that where it's from?
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
Metal Gear. Yeah, it's like the theme song for the game.
I think I played the first one, but I like more of the fantasy type games. Like I did like Skyrim, okay?
Skyrim's trash, man. Yeah. It's a spicy take. I get it. And like I understand people love Skyrim, and there is nothing wrong with loving Skyrim. It's just I played Oblivion.
Mm-hmm.
And I played a lot of RPGs before Skyrim, and Skyrim felt like, because Call of Duty was really popular at the time, and Skyrim quite literally like took the controls from like Call of Duty and pretty much took the magic out of the game. Let's be fair, because I mean, there's magic, but I mean, it's literally like the most mundane magic. And then
Yeah, is it?
everything's gray, and every tomb has Draugr in it. And I'm like, it just gets boring. It got so boring so fast for me. I did go through the main storyline. I played 32 hours, and I never played it again until I streamed it one time, and then I had to like force myself to play it. But I played Oblivion. I can boot up Oblivion right now and play it all night.
Oh,
It's just
see,
such
I
a
can
great game.
see, and that's like, I need to play Oblivion. I haven't played Oblivion yet.
God, it's so good. Well, you probably the issue is Oblivion. It's a very different experience because the controls are so strange. Like it's very awkward and clunky. But
Yeah.
you get really immersed in the world because there's a lot of different environments. Every city looks different. There's snowy parts, there's summery parts, there's paradise looking parts, there's hell looking places. Skyrim is gray. Everything is gray. All the forever, it's just gray. And I'm like, God, this is awful. It's just gray. And then you go down below into the area where all those little freaking goblin looking or whatever the hell they are, they all look like Smeagol from Lord of the Rings. And gray. All of it's gray. Everything's gray. And you go into the dwarven place and there's little golden robots. You're like, oh, some gold. And then the rest is just gray. I'm like, God, it reminds me of Fallout. Fallout, everything's just gray and wastelandy. And I'm like, this sucks.
Yeah, I'm trying to find an argument there, but I can't really argue that one.
Yeah,
That's pretty accurate.
I think my biggest gripe with Skyrim is the fact that you're a god. Like, so you start the game and it's like, oh my God, it's the Dragonborn. You're already a god, and
Yeah,
you're the
that's
only
fair.
person that can shout. So other than there, you'll find random people throughout the game that can shout, but you'll just be shouting dudes off cliffs. Oh, Fusro Dog, oh, and they fly off the fucking cliff.
Yeah,
And
that's the most fun
yeah,
thing to do.
Fusro Dawing people is great, but like you're a god. Like everybody's like, oh, it's
Yeah.
the Dragonborn. In Oblivion, you're a damn pleb. You're a prisoner, and he's like the king, Uriel Septim, Patrick Stewart is like, I saw you in my dreams, and he's like, you have a big destiny ahead of you, and then you just go out and go kill shit, and then if you become leader of the Thieves Guild, people will acknowledge you. If you become leader of the Fighters Guild, people acknowledge you. If you become the Grand Champion, people will be like, oh my God, it's the Grand Champion. You know, like you get, or the hero of Kavach, whatever you do in the game, people will address you differently, you know, depending on where you go. Whereas in Skyrim, everywhere you go, it's like, oh, it's the Dragonborn. Oh my God, he's Dragonborn. Dude, don't do any shouting here, Dragonborn. And I'm like, oh my God, who cares? Fuck, I don't want to be Dragonborn. I want to be me. Damn it. I want to be the dragon guy. And then you go into the damn freaking tomb places. Then Draugrs get out of damn caskets and they're like, oh, Draugr. I'm like, oh, great. Look, another Draugr. Wow. Oh, like in Oblivion, you're level 1, you see a puppy and it's like bark. You hit it and it flies. You're like, all right, cool. Dead puppy. Mud crab, dead as hell. But when you get to level 30, there's dinosaurs and shit. Why is there a dinosaur here? But it's because the game levels as you level and new enemies start appearing all over the place. And suddenly there's giant dinosaurs and you're like, holy shit. And they're kicking your ass. Whereas in Skyrim, fucking Draugr. Just Draugrs forever. I'm tired of the Draugr.
Yeah, I will give you that because, you know, in order, because I'm 100%er, I need to like 100% games with trophies and whatnot. And like the grind to get to level 80 in Skyrim, because once you hit, it's like once you hit level 70, you're just so OP. Yeah. It's like them trying to get the amount of XP you need to actually level up. God, I do not miss that. I will say that because all you can really do is like try and go kill Draugr. Let me re-enter this tomb and kill this Draugr. Oh, look. It's just more Draugr.
It's a legendary Draugr. Oh, look, it's a super legendary Draugr. And I'm like, oh, wow, he looks the same as the normal stupid Draugr that I just hit one time and flew. Like, I don't know, man. And the cool thing about Oblivion is there's like weird raider hideouts that are like little like mud holes. And then there's old ancient alien ruins that are really cool that have like wraiths in there and ghosts and like ectoplasm like fucking things. And then you go to another area and it's like, you know, a dwarven area, and you go to another area and it's like a creepy like cavern, and there's like a pirate ship in the sunken cavern. There's all these different environments, and in Skyrim it's just like the one, unless you go into the dwarven place, or if you go into the under place with the goofy little goblin, like whatever the hell they are, dudes. I don't know. It felt like I was playing a video game whereas Oblivion felt like I was playing like an RPG. Like the same as if I'm playing like D&D or something. Oblivion, I could completely lose myself in Oblivion. Whereas Skyrim felt like I was playing a video game, 100%. Like I never at once got immersed in Oblivion or in Skyrim. So it's hard. And people really, it's a very spicy take, but I don't like that. And I didn't like Fallout 4. I didn't like Brink. I just haven't liked the Bethesda game in a long time. Fallout 76. So people are like, "Why are you not playing Starfield?" I'm like, "Because if my girl cheated on me 4 times, I would not fucking
You wouldn't
hang out
go
with her."
back.
And they're like, "Oh, it's a great game." I'm like, "Dude, I saw a gameplay of it yesterday, and the graphics looked like they're from 2008. I'm not playing that game." And also, like all the controversy, which I actually don't really care about, around the game. And dude, I played Elden Ring. I remember the first time I popped Elden Ring in. I played it for a few hours, and I finally got to that point where I was like immersed, and I was like, I don't need Bethesda anymore.
Yeah.
Because Bethesda was that company, right? Like,
Yeah.
all these games exist, but when a Bethesda game came out, it was like, man, I got this world.
It was like
now every game does that, and From Software does it better than Elder Scrolls ever did. I prefer Elden Ring almost over anything. It's just it's in that world. That's the same thing. It's just like Oblivion. There's a fireplace. There's a snowy place. There's a beautiful foresty place. There's an underground weird ass galaxy place that's like weird, like underground, like upside down city. There's so much to that game, and the game works. Whereas Oblivion's the same way. But
I'm gonna have to, because I bought Elden Ring. I just never played it. It's like I get caught. I'm caught in Minecraft right now. It's just one of those things. I'm caught in Minecraft. Eventually, I'll get myself out of the Minecraft trap, and I'll go back to playing real games. But right now, I fell so hard into the Minecraft trap when I discovered it, because for the longest time, I'm like, Minecraft is stupid. Why would anyone want to play blocks? And then I started playing Minecraft, and I'm like, well, it's fun to build blocks.
I remember buying Minecraft for like $7, and I was building. There was like 4 blocks you could build with or something, and then they added zombies and creepers and skeletons, I think. And I used to play that shit so much, dude. But this was like, I don't know. This was when I was probably like 19 or 18 when this was a thing, maybe. I don't know. But yeah, then it got a little too. I tried to play in it like a few years ago, and there's so much to it now. I'm like, there's no way in hell I can do this now.
Yeah, you can do like literally anything. There's so many cool things that you can build, and like it's crazy. But like, talk about, man, I just checked. Like, I'm pretty sure I only downloaded the game and like last year in 2022. Like, I'm pretty sure I only downloaded it in 22.
Yeah.
And I already have like over 25,000 or 2,500 hours.
Oh my God. If you're going to say 25,000, I'll be like, bro, you need to like do something.
No, 2,500. 2,500.
You need to walk outside because it's too much, man.
Yeah, there's a reason I'm this white, but
I don't know. I would pull up Steam to see what my most played game is, but I don't even know what it is. It's probably Left 4 Dead 2, maybe. Oblivion would be my biggest, but Oblivion's not on Steam. It's just a game.
Yeah.
So yeah. Kaiser Pineapple, by the way, in the chat said 2016 Doom. Yes, 2016 Doom is a masterpiece. 100%.
Nice. And then I got a $20 super chat from a series of bats. Thank you so much for the $20 super chat. That is awesome. Caught Danny, Jeff, and finally you live. Thank you for the unexplained episodes. My father died suddenly on July 3rd, and it's been really tough, especially sleep. Been listening to y'all on a loop while I sleep, so I don't feel alone. I am so sorry to hear that. I'm glad that we can be kind of like that voice of, I don't know, just hanging out with you, because I lost my father in 2020, and it was sudden, but it wasn't, because it was like, oh, he didn't feel good. He went to the doctor. Oh, he had cancer, and then it was 30 days.
Oh God.
So that's
I can't. I don't even want to think about that. My dad is like my hero. Like I can't even imagine.
You know, it is. I'm gonna tell you, it's for those. for those of us that were blessed enough to have an amazing father, it is a weird time in a person's life when your father is going, because it's like you're a grown ass adult, but like I never felt more like that 5-year-old girl just wanting like my dad.
Yeah.
And I am so sorry, a series of bets, but I am happy that you are here, and I'm happy that we can kind of like, these are tough things that, it's life. Nobody gets out of this life alive. But mostly the way I deal with it is with dark humor, which is
Yeah,
not
dude.
always healthy, but we talk about it with our friends and our family, and I'm glad that you come here to hang out with us cuz we'll help you feel better. That's
Yeah.
I am an entertainer and I like to make people laugh. So,
Yeah.
that's always
Somehow that's what I am. I don't know how I am. I'm still very confused when people watch me. Like I'm always like starting to stream up, and I'm like, 80 people waiting. I'm like, this is it. This is gonna be a
yeah.
stream where like no one shows up, and then people show up. I'm like, every time I'm confused, but okay.
Oh yeah. I'm like, I'll ask Mrs. Flex, I'm like, why do people watch me? I just yell about the government. And she's like, because you're cool when you do it. I'm like, I mean,
Yeah.
I guess. I guess. But it has been almost an hour and a half. I told you only about an hour, but I appreciate you hanging out for a while. But everybody knows me, and I tend to wrap things up a little early because I have like one of those office jobs that I have to go to still.
Ew, gross.
I know. It's like almost every day, I'm just like, it'd be so cool if I could just like stream and not have to sit in an office for 8 hours a day.
If you do it long enough, you might be able to. I mean, I my situation's not typical because I think I was at 75,000 subs when I got fired from Walmart.
Oh wow.
And I was like, still, it doesn't matter how many subs you have. You wonder if you could do it for like a job.
Oh
So
yeah.
I was like, well, I guess I'll just stream and never miss a stream. And this is what I've been doing for years. And it's opened up so many doors. Like I
Oh yeah.
started racing. I have sponsorship throughout the rest of the year because of YouTube.
That's awesome.
I, made a dumb purchase recently that I would never been able to do ever in the history of time without YouTube because,
Nice.
it pays more. It pays a
Yeah.
lot more, especially the more time you put into it. I mean, I do 12 to 13 shows a month.
Oh
Um,
wow.
and I have at least 6 videos a month. I should be doing more there, but it's hard. It's really hard to put out
It
videos.
it takes a lot of effort. It
Mhm.
takes more than I think people realize, because not only when you like make a video, I feel you have to put like extra energy into it because you're on screen. You have to put in like, it's different than communicating with people in real life.
Yeah.
And it tends to zap energy sometimes.
Yeah, it's wild. But as long as you stick to it and you just continue to be consistent, you'll make it. The issue with YouTube though, which is the unfortunate truth, is YouTube requires videos for growth. Unfortunately, uh,
Mhm.
I don't know many people that just stream that got a following from it. I mean, even Nick Rekieta, I mean, he was putting out videos alongside his streams on the depth trial that were getting millions of views.
Oh
So
yeah.
that's why I put out videos, and I enjoy putting out videos. I love watching the ticker. I love reading the comments. I love the edit. I don't edit. Oh, thank God, I'm an editor, but I love watching it and I love doing it. But there is almost no money in it. There's only growth. So I put out
Yeah.
videos because every now and then a video will give me 10K subs.
Mhm.
The most important thing. People
Yeah.
come to your videos, they subscribe, and they watch your show. The live show is what brings in almost all the revenue. That, locals, and Rumble. So
Wow. Yeah, see, and that's like, I feel like it would be fun to do as a job, but I feel like because you're at the mercy of the YouTube algorithm
yep,
and like just people, I feel like it could definitely probably get a little stressful.
it does. Yeah, and the one cool thing about the algorithm is the fact that streaming doesn't, well, the algorithm's not really affected, or well, your streaming audience isn't really affected by algorithm. I'll have videos, I'll get 70, 80K like views every video I put out for like a month. And I'm like,
Oh
hell yeah,
wow.
we're doing great. And then
Yeah.
2 months later, I'm getting like 10K per video. And it's like, well, this is the end, I guess. But the streams always either are growing or are the same. I mean, Saturday or maybe Monday, Tuesday, I can't remember. Maybe Monday, I had 2,000 concurrent on during my show. And
Wow.
my most recent video barely scraped by like 20K views. So
The GameStop one?
yeah. So the algorithm doesn't really affect streaming much. So that's why it's like, well, I'm putting out my videos, and if they underperform, I don't have to worry because my streaming is where I'm able to, pay my mortgage and do all that shit. So
Nice. See, I would definitely like to put out videos one day. But I hate the sound of my own voice. I find it to be very shrill. I don't understand how people can listen to me. But
hey,
anytime I
I
try to
mean,
go back to like watch a video I can't, because I can't
yeah,
listen to myself for more than like 30 seconds without me being like, "Oh my God, how is
yeah,
this how
I
is this a thing?"
I guess you just got to get used to it. I was the same way, and I don't edit anymore, but I did. I edited my first probably 300 videos. I don't even know how many videos I have now, but I have an editor. I've had an editor for like a year and a half now, and he does
Nice.
everything. And it's way I'll watch the edit, and that's pretty much all I do. I'll proof it, and then I'll put it out. So
That's see, and that's I'll I feel like because I most of what I do is just live streams. Every
yeah,
once in a while, I put up like my painting videos, but half the time I forget to record it when I'm painting, and I'm
yeah,
like, shit, this would have been perfect content.
yeah.
And then yeah, I end up forgetting, and then I don't get around to putting it on. But
That's like my
um,
racing stuff. That's why I just put it. I just record all my racing stuff, and I just put it on locals.
that's
I'm so
awesome.
stuck it. So I have it out. I'm like, all right, here's my racing stuff. Because I got to the point where I wasn't recording it because I was like, well, if I can't make a video around this, and also I didn't film any intros or anything because I used to do that, and I was like, oh, you know what? Let me just GoPro film everything possible, like throughout
Mhm.
the day, and then just put it on locals, like completely unedited. Just that's what I do. So
Nice. I think that's what I'm probably just gonna start recording my paint. Like, I just need to have my camera always on. That way, like when I start painting, I'm like, oh look, I actually recorded it this time.
yeah,
That way I can just because with that, it's like typically I'll just time lapse it. And that's
yeah,
always a nice little, 3 to 5 minute video that people can enjoy.
right.
But thanks for coming out and hanging out with me tonight. Like, it's been awesome.
Yeah, it's fun, dude. I
Yeah.
wasn't I'm finding more and more when I go on shows it's like less stressful. I used to get stressed about it, but now I don't really, it doesn't bother me at all. So that's why I've been saying yes to a lot of people lately that ask me to come on
Nice.
because I'm like, oh, whatever. I used to get stressed, but I guess I don't really get stressed anymore. I don't know why. I get
Yeah.
stressed about my shows though, like real
See,
bad.
I yeah, I get like I'll get anxiety and I'm like I try that's why I try to like, oh, it's the House of Flux because I'm trying to maintain like as much of a chill vibe and like
Yeah,
this is literally just people hanging out
yeah.
because
I don't know, like Saturday, Monday, I don't remember. I like started my show, or I started like the scheduling, and by the time it was like 8:30, which is when I go live, there was like 480 people waiting, and I was like, "Oh, it's far too many," right? You know,
you're
'cause I'm
like,
used
oh,
to
this is
I'm
a
used to
lot.
150 before the show, like in the schedule, like wait in the weight room, and it was like
Mhm.
500, almost 500, and I was like, "Oh." It was like I was covering the AZ Hill versus Babyface thing, and I had
Oh yeah.
Nick Rekieta, and I had Cecil on, and it was just there was a lot of fucking people on that show, and I was like stressed
That
out.
was a good show though.
It was fun. It was great.
That was
Yeah.
a fun one.
Once
But
you get going, you forget about all the stress.
yeah, once you get talking, that's kind of like especially if you have like people that are engaging and they can, bounce off of you and you don't have any of that like weird dead air
Yeah.
or anything. Uh you'll typically, turns out pretty well. But guys, thank you for coming and hanging out tonight. Thank you for chilling chat. I'm sorry I didn't acknowledge you as much tonight. Typically when I have like people, I like to engage with the person more, but because that's what y'all are coming to hang out for. But guys, I love you so much. Thank you for all the super chats, guys. Tomorrow I don't have anything, but Saturday Minecraft mornings. What do you Camelot? I didn't ask you. You're my guest. You should have gone first. What do you have coming up?
Oh, I don't know. I'll have videos coming out for sure, of course. Probably I think I'll have one Sunday probably. I try to put out 2 a week, but it's hard. But Sunday is the deadline. I will definitely have one Sunday no matter what. But I might be one before that. I don't know. But there's that. I have my supercar reveal. I bought my first supercar ever finally.
Nice.
Took 33 years, and it gets delivered Sunday. So I'm gonna probably go live on locals with that. So that'll be Sunday as well, probably. Saturday, I think Saturday will be my first official episode of Camel Thoughts with Zia.
Nice.
So that's gonna be fun. There's gonna be new super chat goals on that, membership goals as well. It's gonna be fun. And September 16th, I will be in Nashville live with Nick Ricada and Dick Masterson on stage. We're doing a live show. We've sold well over 100 tickets, I think, so far, and they're still up for sale. We sold out of all the front row and shit, and the meet and greets and the whiskey show, the whiskey after show. I think we sold out. I don't know. Anyways, if that's even on there anymore. I don't know. But it's going to be September 16th meet and greet. It's going to be a lot of fun. The Eventbrite page is up on Nick's locals. I think I put it on my locals as well. But you can follow me on Twitter. That's where it'll be as well. So it'll be a lot of fun. A lot of fun stuff going up. So, and if you're in the North Carolina, or not North Carolina, if you're in Virginia, I have a race September 30th at Dominion with all the new sponsorships. And I'll be in the car that won last week. So we'll have a good chance to finally do some good damage. So hopefully I can come out of there with a win, which I've never won before in any NASCAR / like racing series. So this will be my best chance. So if you're in Virginia, come see me.
Nice. What part of Virginia?
It's called Dominion Raceway. I usually just fly in and then jump in the car and then fly out. But let me see.
Because sometimes Virginia can be close to Maryland.
It is in Woodford, Virginia.
How far is Woodford from me?
Where are you, Maryland? You said Maryland?
Yeah.
What the hell? I forgot Maryland was a place.
Right? It's not a great it's not a super great state. Definitely Hogan sucks.
Maryland.
It's terrible
mainly white people though, right? So that's kind of nice.
Well, outside of Baltimore, maybe.
Wait, what the hell? You're only an hour away from an hour and a half from Dominion. What the fuck? That's weird.
Hell yeah.
That's strange. Where is that?
Hell yeah.
Is this the right Dominion? Hold on, let me zoom in. Yeah, this is right. Yeah, you're only an hour and a half away from Dominion Raceway. That's interesting. September 30th. If you want to
might come check out a race.
Hang out in the pits.
Holy shit. Actually, yeah, that's actually not too far. Hold on. I'm Googling the actual directions to see how far. Oh, that's not the right one. That's no, but like my house address, it pulled up a whole different city, and I'm like, I didn't even think that was a real city. This would only take me about an hour and 47 minutes. That is not a bad drive at all.
Yeah, maybe I can win. I don't know yet. I don't know if I have the ability yet. I've ran fourth in a slow car, and I'm like, well, maybe I can run good in a fast car. I don't know. I'm still a rookie, man. I've only raced like 12 times total. And I'm up against people that are like champions in other series and 10-time ARCA champions. And I'm like, oh, God. So we'll see.
Oh, wow. It's really funny because Mrs. Flux's grandfather, his wife, she's actually super into NASCAR. And we go to dinner with them every Wednesday. And typically we hear all about NASCAR. heard
Yeah.
about the one time the guy rode the wall all the
That was
way
pretty cool.
around.
Yeah, that was pretty
I
cool.
was like, holy shit.
Yeah. I don't watch it as much as I'd like. I used to watch it a lot, but when I started racing, I kinda got away from watching. But my series is basically 2 series down from, like, the truck series. Um,
Nice.
it's there used to be called the Super Cup Series for, like, 10, 15 years, and now it's called the Grand National Super Series. And, it's a lot of people. It's growing really fast. We had a TV deal this year for a short period, which is where I got my merch from. And
Nice.
it'll be broadcast next year. Probably the entire season will be broadcast on TV next year. It's going to be like tripling in size. There's going to be more races. There's going to be like way more cars. So
Wow.
it's going to be interesting. It's going to be very interesting. And I hope I'll be able to race full time next year. The team I race for is kind of insinuated that I'll be, if I want to, they'll offer me a full ride next year. So that's what I'm hoping for.
Nice. That's awesome. Well, guys, it's been an awesome night. We've had a lot of fun. Guys, we'll check you out, or we'll see you next time wherever we see you. Have a great night. Don't forget, be excellent to each other. And yeah, have a great night, guys. Bye.
Get on it, doggone it.